Do you remember Captain Tom Moore, the man who decided to walk around his garden during the first lockdown to raise money for the NHS? He got famous and he's no longer with us, but his daughter and his family set up a charity foundation in his name with people's money. We previously talked about this foundation and some issues with it in the past, but we have some more information in this video because his daughter and his family are having a great life at the expense that all thanks to people's money and the fame of her father. This is about Hannah. Yes, so what they have now is this operation, massive empire, because during the first lockdown, when Captain Tom Moore was doing his walk around the garden thing, they raised £39 million for the NHS. That was a time when we used to clap every Thursday at 8 p.m. and the nurses were dancing to TikTok songs and rainbow flags and everything else that happened. And of course, they're working hard during those times. But all this happened. Then the family and the daughter spent that money to set up this operation. They have this massive land. On the left-hand side, you can see this the property that is worth 1.2 million pounds, and on the right-hand side, top right, with the red circle, that part they got a planning permission, and the idea was to set up an office for their foundation. So that's how they got the permission to do some, admin and everything else. Well, we have some new information about what happened with that space in that property. So, but considering, obviously, you have to set up your foundation with the charity as a charity in terms of the status. So you have to be accountable because you're using people's money. What's happened now? Oh, yeah. So on the left-hand side, the 7-bedroom house, 1.2 million pounds. On the right-hand side, instead of just having an office, they've built a luxury spa block with a swimming pool and changing rooms, and it's a lovely life. It's a very, very lovely gravy train setting up a charity foundation these days. You no longer have to join and work for the European Union to have a nice life with a gravy train. You can actually just set up a charity in this country and everything's going to be fine until you get caught out. And we're going to call you out in this video. And of course, now the charity trustees are kicking off because they weren't told the truth about this. Now, as I said, this is not the first time that this foundation has fallen into chaos. And we're going to get into the details of what happened before. But the Captain Tom Moore Foundation, the trustees came out to say at no time were the Captain Tom Foundation's independent trustees were aware of planning permissions made by Mr. and Mrs. Ingram Moore perpetrating to be in the foundation's name. Had they been aware of any applications, the independent trustees would not have authorized them. So, again, this sort of misbehavior and using Tom Moore's name and fame and all the money that they raised is not new. Back in June 2022, literally a year ago, we had this headline: trustees of Captain Sir Tom Moore Foundation face formal inquiry into charities such as the Charity Commission, which investigated concerns the family personally profited from the charity set up in veterans' name. Yeah, I was wondering what they're going to do with all that money. Millions and millions of pounds. Yeah, do you think everything went straight to the hard-working nurses and doctors that they claim to care about? Of course not. That's not how it works. Even the rest of it that did go into the NHS, you know how much of it is going to get wasted and going to get completely disappeared, and admin costs and legal costs, and somehow camper vans were being bought in Scotland. That's a different issue, allegedly. But the inquiry, which opened on 16th of June, examined whether trustees had been responsible for mismanagement or misconduct in the administration of the charity, and whether, as a result, the charity has suffered any financial losses, including through any unauthorized private benefit to any of the current or previous trustees. Secondly, adequately manage conflicts of interest, including with private companies connected to Ingram Moore family. Okay. And complied and with and fulfilled their duties and responsibilities under charity law. That was the third point. Now, the commission, they said at the time, they may extend the scope of the inquiry if additional issues emerge. Well, additional issues have now emerged. It's not directly linked to the initial inquiry, but it creates a pattern of behavior with that so-called charity foundation. And I think it's probably about time for this country to start having a grown-up conversation about the nature of charity organizations, quangos, so-called independent bodies, basically any organization that is not completely accountable to the public, but they have a massive influence across the country. So we can say that we elect our local councillors, we elect our MPs in the House of Commons, sure. But that's literally the only power we have as the electorate and as the taxpayer. We can't really individually start any campaign to hold any of these organizations to account. Now, big charities become corporate, and corporate charities have power and influence, and they take people's money. It's time to talk about that. Anyway, I thought we're going to start today's videos by talking about, again, people's money being misused. We have a few other videos. Today we're going to talk about the SNP's hypocrisy on immigration in Scotland, as well as we are going to name and shame more people today on this channel. We've been doing it for the past few days. We are going to be naming and shaming the establishment, especially those linked to the OBR, the Office for Budget Responsibility, and the BBC. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.